Good morning. Welcome to the Inside Job Podcast, Healed Inside Out. This morning we have Fresh.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, I was hesitant. I was like, I wanted to get in and be like, Fresh with the good Fresh crew. Yeah, we're not doing that.
One of these days, not today.
He said he wasn't going to Dougie for me, y'all. He said he's going to do that off camera. So
off camera.
We'll hold that.
Yeah, definitely.
Just in case your Dougie look like the Flintstone or something like that.
Yeah, I gotta get my rhythm right before I do that stuff on camera.
Okay. Plus probably need a little beat,
Yeah, definitely. But I got a metronome in my head, so I can work it out. But
Okay.
I don't want to do it today.
Okay. Well, we're going to pause on that. We'll get to that another time. So how are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. If I complain, it'll be a sin.
And what would it do anyway for us? Complaining.
Nothing.
Facts.
It wouldn't solve anything.
You just be complaining. You know, wasting words and breath.
Exactly.
So good. Let's not.
Don't do it. Move forward. Find a way. Find a solution.
Yes. So what's going on with you, Fresh? What are you doing?
A lot's going on with me.
Okay.
I have a podcast of my own.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
what is that called?
It's called Reality Rap.
Okay, Reality Rap.
By Fresco Fresh 100. That's my stage name, my rap name.
Okay.
So, I want to delve into the topics. Like hip hop is a very touchy subject.
Okay.
It's transformative. It's influential.
Yes.
It's many things
Yes,
to
it
many
is.
people.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it as being destructive, to the current culture, like the current generation. So
Yes.
my thing is getting back to the music. So that's why I say reality rap, because there's a reality behind, being a mass murderer, being a gangster, being a killer,
that part.
being a major drug dealer. So
Yeah.
and that's what my story stems from is the effects of living that kind of lifestyle. So I want to like deter people from going down that path. Like it's good to have artistic expression and touch audiences and delve into certain topics, but when you start crossing that line where you have to prove yourself and get views to sell music, that's a problem.
Ooh, that is so good. That is so good and needed.
Thank you.
Right? Needed. So then clearly you started this because of a path that you had been down. Is that what you're telling me?
Definitely.
Let's talk about that. What does that look like?
That path it was arduous. I was just released from federal prison after serving 18 years.
After 18 years?
Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been out?
I've been out, it's going on 14 months now.
Okay, well, congratulations and welcome back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I imagine. Okay, what landed you there?
Armed bank robbery.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I was 20 years old. And, one of the main things one of the main points I like to make is that when them people give you that time, they mean it.
Ooh-wee.
They're not trying to play with you, horseplay, tickle you. They want you to do every day. And I pretty much did, they sentenced me to 244 months. And I pretty much did the majority of my time. So my story, my podcast, my music, my path is all cautionary. Like, because I lived it. Like, I really done that. Like, I really walked amongst giants. I really walked amongst killers, gangsters, like the people that people really think or act like they want to be like.
Yeah.
Like, I was there at the table with them. And the gangsters and the kingpins and the dons and the bosses, they'll tell everybody out here, like, bro, y'all tripping. Find another lane. They wouldn't encourage nobody to do none of what they have done because they see the consequences of it.
Ooh.
They live in them. Like, I left a lot of lifers behind, people that are solid, genuine, good people, but they may never get out of prison. And that's the reality.
Wow, that's serious.
Yes, it is.
That's serious. Now, was it just a one and done thing? Like you just kind of got caught up in that and then, or you had been treading that path?
I was reckless. I was
Okay.
out there, I was a young fool. I was wild. I was
On that.
Definitely, I was precocious. I was trying to, get my hands dirty, get my feet in the game, prove myself. And I think that's one of the greatest lessons that I learned, throughout the course of time is that you cannot prove things to people that don't matter.
Pin that.
You can't. And when I really started to really drill down into that and really look at myself in the mirror, I realized like I made some of the greatest mistakes in my life, and I needed to change that because the people that I was trying to prove things to didn't care, number one. But number two, they weren't built like me. So now I'm at a point where I'm trying to prove that I can stay free, that I can make my mother and father proud, that I can resist any desire to delve back into that criminal lifestyle, try to get fast money, try to go back out to prove myself. Like I'm resisting all of that, and that's what I'm proving now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now, other than through your music and your podcast, what other steps did you take to kind of try to get that healing and into the on the righteous path? What else was a driving force for you, if anything?
It was multiple things, because I mean it's not easy to do that amount of time.
I can't imagine.
No, it's unimaginable for many people. And when they see me, they look at me like, that's impossible. Like, you did that much time? Like, I'm not even 40 yet.
Oh, wow.
So that should tell people something, number one. But number two, I really just had to find something for myself to push me through that. And it was working out. I mastered my body. It was writing.
Okay.
I wrote multiple books and published a book while I was in prison.
Okay.
And then I continued to write music.
Okay.
And I continued to, travel this spiritual journey. I wasn't religious. I didn't go in there and start reading the Bible or start reading the Quran and bumping my head 5 times a day. But I really went into myself, and I looked in the mirror and I said, okay, this is where I was right. This is where I was wrong. I need to focus on what I did wrong and get it right.
That is so good. That is so good. And for it to be self-driven. You know what definitely. I'm saying? That is amazing. So congratulations for that. That says a lot.
Thank you.
That says a lot. So the books, it's just not gradually slide by that. How many books do you have?
So I published one fiction novel. I wrote my autobiography. And then I wrote a book with historical context. And I have a series because I realized that like a lot of the good authors, especially fiction authors, they always have a flagship character that kind of anchors their franchise. So you look at somebody like Lee Child, he has Jack Reacher. You look at Eric Jerome Dickey, he has Gideon. You could just go down the list of successful published authors. They have a series of books that center around a character, and they can just build on that character. So I've developed my own character, and I have a good story. I have 2 books in that series, pretty much. I have one completed, one almost complete. Okay. But since I've gotten out, life happens.
Absolutely.
And so I haven't really been able to get back to the writing, get back to publishing. Okay. But it's definitely on my radar. That's some of the things that I plan to undertake before this year ends.
Okay, well, good. And just from, feeling the spirit of you, you're going to get it done.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're going to get it done. What are the names of your books? And is there a place, is it like on Amazon, or can people get it?
Yes, my first book is called How Many? And I use a pseudonym. I use my real last name. But the pseudonym is Rico Sholarin. My last name is Solarin. Okay. It's on Amazon, and it's published through Sincere Publishing. But it's been out since 2016, so it's been out about 8 years. Okay. When I go to Amazon, I still see it, but a few people have told me they ordered it and it never showed up. So I'm not telling you to order it, but it's out there. Okay. So you can order at your own risk. I don't know, because I've lost contact with the person that published it, so that's why I don't recommend it. Okay. But when you see my books come out again, they will be under my name, Frederick Sholarin, and you'll see my work. Okay. Wow, that's phenomenal. Thank you.
That's phenomenal.
Let me go back though. Okay. Because you did ask me about titles. So the first title, which is published, is How Many? Okay. By Rico Sholarin. Now the other 4. So the next one I wrote was my autobiography, and that was The Prison's Therapist. And it was an autobiography. Like I said, I went into my life. I went deep into my life. Okay. And, you know, you always hear people talk about, oh, you can't make the same mistakes twice. You can't make the same mistakes twice. But if you don't have a blueprint to
You better come on.
avoid making the same mistakes twice, you're gonna fall into the same trap. Or if you don't eliminate that desire,
That part.
then you will always go back to what you used to, because, you know, coming from underprivileged or underserved communities,
Yes.
you know, black, minority, whatever, it's easy to fall back into guns. It's easy to fall back into drugs. Like, that's second nature. That's a box.
Yes.
And when you think about box, it's designed like that. That's why they redline these communities and they put us in these boxes and they say, okay, we want you here. We want you doing this. And we're going to keep this microscope on you.
Yes.
And when you slip up, we catch you. We're going to bring you back into our system and make you livestock once again. So you have to fight that element in itself.
Yes.
But when you limit it, you know, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. So it has to be an innate desire
That's
driving you to say, okay, how do I get outside this box? What can I do for myself outside this box to become better, to do better, to live better? And that's the trick, and that's a test, and it's a case by case basis.
It is. It is. Yeah. One size don't fit all.
No, it doesn't.
But but it sounds like the path that you chose and the one that you took to better yourself, that seems like anybody can fit that path.
Yeah,
you got to do the work and you got to be
definitely.
intentional.
Yeah,
Right? You didn't
Definitely.
you didn't put something on the table like, okay, I followed this 12-step program type thing or whatever,
No.
which can be difficult for some people to follow. That's where it doesn't fit all, but searching yourself
yes.
like that, you can do that. That
Yeah.
fits for everybody.
You, see, this the thing about it though, right? Because you can do it, but if you're not honest with yourself,
That part.
when you look in the mirror, if you're not honest with yourself,
Yeah.
then it'll be a fool's errand. You have to look in that mirror. You have to be critical of yourself. Like, damn, I was dumb. That was stupid. That was foolish. I was wrong. Like, once you start taking ownership along those
Yes.
lines
Yes.
and
Yes.
identify the problems in your life along those lines,
Come on.
things change. Things change because you're confrontational with yourself and nobody has to do it for you. Like, it's easy. Like, it's like when a dog, you know, makes a mess in the house and you grab the dog by the collar and say, hey, look, you made the mess.
Right.
You know, the dog will see it eventually, but when you're in prison, people are not going to be there to hold you, you know,
Yeah.
hold your feet
Hold
to the
your
fire. They're not going to hold you accountable. Like, you'll either become a victim or you'll continue down that same path and you'll never change, because prison is not designed to rehabilitate you. It's designed to confine you. And that's the difference. They don't rehabilitate you. So anybody that comes out of prison rehabilitated is because they wanted to rehabilitate themselves. They wanted to change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
people don't want to change you because you're a commodity. Your body in a cell makes money. You in prison makes money.
Yes.
The taxpayer pays for the person in prison, pays the salary for the people that work in the prison. Your family sends money to you while you're in the prison. That money is taxed. And then they tax you on commissary when they mark up the commissary prices. So this is a business.
Yes, it is.
And then when you look at it from that perspective, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do that no more.
Wow, that is that's some stuff right there.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you: in your autobiography, do you do you talk about maybe are there some childhood traumas, growing up in a
Definitely.
bad? You know, unfortunately, we have families where where poverty is high, or what's the story with that?
Well, I didn't come from an impoverished background.
Okay.
So I would say that about myself. Like,
Okay.
I had both my parents in the household,
Oh wow.
but I grew up in a certain neighborhood. I grew up in Montbello.
Oh, did you? Well, hey, well,
Yeah.
wait though. So did I. But what part? Where were you at?
I stayed off of 46th.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so I grew up in Montbello. And then,
Okay.
my neighborhood gang affiliated,
Yeah.
my family gang affiliated. And the thing about having both parents at home is when one was going, the other was coming.
Comment.
So it's only so much. I don't really place blame at
Of
all on my
course.
parents,
Okay.
because ultimately the decision-making process is my own. But I just feel like I wish that, things could have been different.
Okay.
You know, maybe life could have been different if certain things were different. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, but that's me just throwing things up into the atmosphere, you know, wishing on a star.
Yeah.
You know, I was dealt the hand and I played the hand how it was dealt to me. And luckily, you know, I got out with my sense. I got out with my health.
Yes.
My family stayed with me the whole time.
Yes.
None of my homies stayed with me. So that showed me everything I needed to see right there. So that's why I say I was done proving things to people in the streets.
Yeah.
I wanted to prove everything to my family because they were the rock in my life throughout that whole sense. If I wanted to learn something, books came into that prison to teach me. If I wanted to eat something, money came into that prison to feed me. So that's where my loyalty lies at now.
Absolutely.
My loyalty doesn't lie in the streets anymore because I've already passed that. I've already transitioned past that. And I did that in a major way. Like most people don't go through it how I went through it because I went through it solid. Like I didn't sacrifice anybody. I didn't fall on my knees. I didn't bow down. I didn't buckle. I didn't fold. But I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I can walk away from it free and clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow, this is so inspiring, you know.
Thank you.
And for you to be, you know, young,
Yes.
and getting it, you know, now. You
Yes,
were young
definitely.
when you started, but to be, you know, I don't know where your age is, but I can imagine if you was in your 20s and you served close to 18, you know, you're still young.
Yes.
Right, and so you have a lot of life ahead of you. You have a
definitely.
lot of opportunity to show people who may be on that path, or to inspire them to one, get out, and or if you're already there, look at me.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Don't do that. And I guess I started that journey while I was in there, you know, prison therapist, because mental health is real.
Absolutely.
Like mental health issues is real. And I realized when I was in there, that's where what they call the dregs of society find themselves. So there were a lot of mentally ill people in there. There were a lot
Yeah.
of people with sicknesses in there. There were a lot
Yeah.
of people that had problems in there.
Yeah.
And they didn't have help. So we had to help one another. And it was only so many of us that were capable of helping one another because we had problems of our own that we were getting through. So I always found myself in situations where I ended up being a counselor.
Okay.
And I don't know how that happened. Like people just saw me as somebody they can talk to.
Yeah.
And I would just sit there and listen. You know, interject here and there, give my advice, or you know, give perspective, or just be a active listener. Just being that person that they could speak to. I mean, I had people just speak to me for hours, and I'd just be sitting there like, man, I wish you would stop talking. But I was there. I couldn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So I just had to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
You know, but it was therapeutic for them.
Yeah. Of course.
And it
as
helped
is.
people. Yeah, it helped people. And then when I saw that, because it was a frequency in that, like it didn't just happen, like it wasn't a one-off or here and there, like it was frequent. I'd be sitting there trying to watch TV and somebody come up, hey, I need to talk to you. And I'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to watch this game.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
But, you know, I realized, like, that was my role. And then as I got older, I realized, like, once they started calling me OG, I'm like, damn, I'm not an OG. Like, I ain't even that old. Like,
Yeah.
but when they coming in, they 21, 22, and they look
Yeah.
up and they see who the senior people are in the unit. They're like, okay, yeah, you are OG. And that set in. So I'm like, okay, now I have a responsibility.
Ooh.
Yeah, so when them youngsters come through and I'm telling them, like, hey, look, you can look around this prison. You can look around this unit. And there's an example of what not to be. Look around. You will see somebody always doing something they have no business doing. And you can learn from that. You don't have to make the mistake. You don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
Pay attention to your environment, and you will see, okay, that's a foolish way to go out. That's a loser. Like, you can just identify everything. You can identify pitfalls. You can identify anything you want to see in that prison without making that mistake yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I was preaching to the youngsters. Like, man, pay attention to your environment. Look around you, man. Stay woke. Stay on your feet. Keep your head up.
Yes.
And some of them listened. Some of them didn't.
Yeah.
And that's just life, because
Oh, yeah.
things were told to me. I didn't listen.
Yeah.
And I bumped my head.
Yeah.
And just, you know, in that same vein, it just wasn't as costly. Like, don't get me wrong, 18 years is a long time. It's a lifetime.
It is.
I had
It
friends
is.
that left. They didn't have children. I got out. Their children graduated high school.
Ooh, yeah.
And when you put that in
happen.
perspective, like, that's a lifetime, because
Yes.
now that he can really potentially, with society and, how generations work now, my friends could be grandfathers now because people tend to have children younger now.
Yes.
So when you look at it from that perspective, that's a
Yeah.
lot of life.
Yeah.
That's like an exponential amount of life that
Yes.
was lost. However, I have to condition that statement. However, it's what you make of it.
That part.
And I feel like I did an exceptional job managing my time. And I saw what I needed to do at an early age, and I did it. And I was successful. I became successful at doing time.
Ooh, that's good.
And it's because you have to manage your time. And
Yes.
it's not like a prideful thing. Because I tell people all the time, like, man, if you sit in jail, you a lame. Like, I was a lame. Like, sitting in there being told how to move and what to do, like, that's lame.
Yes.
So don't get that twisted. And I frequently emphasize that to people, like, don't get that twisted. Like, okay, you can do time and you can do it right. But if you're doing time and you're not doing what you're supposed to or what you want to do, that's lame. So don't look at, like, people look at prison like, oh, those are stripes. Now, from the street perspective, you do get stripes from it, depending on how you do it. If you do it solid, like whatever you do it through the process, you get stripes from it, cool.
Yeah.
But are those really the stripes that you want in life? And I guess you gotta weigh, because some people value that.
Yeah, they do.
And for the people that value that and they can stand on that, I salute them. If you can live like that and you can stand on it and you could do it and you could, hey, salute.
Wow.
For me, I'm done with it.
Wow. I was, yeah. That's amazing.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you were able to do that, because when you think about it, okay, I guess it could get some stripes and you can salute them, but what is that doing positively in the community?
Nothing.
Like what are you gaining by those stripes? You know what I'm saying?
You lose.
Yeah. So, is it honorable? You know what I'm saying? I guess if you on that level, and that's what the street brings you, and that's what what it's breeding, but holistically, and when you're looking at it from that perspective, what are you actually doing?
You lost.
Yeah.
You lost because all the people that I dealt with, I had a few cellies that had life. And I still have a few dudes that I communicate with that have life, that are clawing, fighting, trying to get out of prison, just begging God for another opportunity to do it different.
Yes.
And they're 22, 23 years in on a life sentence.
Oh, wow.
So when you let that resonate in your brain, it's like you got life and you've already been in almost a quarter century. And you're not going to get out. Like, there's no parole in the federal system. So the only way you get out is if Congress changes the law.
Yes.
If those senators go in there and vote on bills that come across their desk. And a lot of times they don't vote on those bills. So people get their hopes up. We watch C-SPAN and we look at newspaper. We study Georgetown Law Review. If those senators don't vote in the majority to pass those bills don't get signed. And then when it gets to the president's desk, if the president doesn't sign off on it, nobody's going home. And they do it intentionally because they want to keep a certain amount of people in prison.
Yeah.
So certain sentences don't move. So when you get those sentences, you got that. You got to do that. But I promise you, all the gangsters that I know, they want a different path. They want to do it again.
They want another opportunity.
They don't want to do what they did. Or this is another element of it. I know gangsters in there right now that did not do what they were accused of doing. And the government knows it.
Ooh,
but they are still doing life sentences because a glitch in the law, a technicality in the law, a matter of statute of limitations, not being able to raise an issue at a certain time.
Yes.
And they just sitting in prison. Like, that's torture. I know people serving time right now for murder, and the people that testified at the trial testified that no, he was not there. He did not commit the murder, but because he was a part of a drug conspiracy, he's liable for the murder. Like, that's sick. But that's the type of system, the criminal justice system that America has crafted for people in these underserved and underprivileged communities.
Wow.
And, you know, going back to the music, people saluting this like, oh, this is what we want to do. Like, bro, y'all don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't believe them, right? I don't believe them when they say like, oh, I'm never going to do this. Like, I want to see it. Like, I really want to see it. Like, I want to see you go, when they be like, hey, look, man, if you don't give up your man, it's life. And they mean that. And they going to give you that. I want to see if you could really stand up under that pressure and then go face it.
Yeah.
And then when you get in there, face it like a man. Because it's levels. And I know the majority of people that say they about that, they're not. So what I'm telling them is avoid it before you get to that point. Stop right now.
Wow. You know, I'm sitting here thinking as I'm listening to you speak, even within my own family, I can think of a couple of, even like I said, my family member, but aside of that, even just some friends, their children who are, it seems like they might be stuck in a little path of having to prove themselves and or in it, and it's not easy to get out of, right? And so what would you recommend for something like that if they feel that there's no way out and they just I gotta do this? Like, I mean, you don't have to because you got choices, but what do you think about that?
I would say that's a cop-out.
Okay.
That's a cop-out because nobody forces a gun in your hand. Nobody forces a sack in your hand and tells you to go sell drugs.
Okay.
Nobody forces you to do those things. But I'm going to give it to you from this perspective. Living that life, it's addictive. It's a drug. It's attractive.
Oh, right? Attractive.
It's attractive because when you wake up every morning and you decide how your day is going to go, you don't have to go punch a clock. That's attractive. That's attractive to you.
Ooh, wow, that.
To get up every day and do what you want to do.
Yes.
Not what you have to do. See, most of us, we get up now, we have to go to work. Because if we don't go to work, the bills don't get paid. If the bills don't get paid, we on the side of the street like we see everybody throughout Denver with them signs talking about, hey.
Yeah.
Give me. Help me. So we have to do those things. We have to work. But like I said, from a criminal perspective, from a street perspective, I'm going to get it how I live. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's attractive. So when people weigh their options, they're like, okay, well, maybe I can get away with it for this long, or maybe I can do it this way, or maybe I could take a shortcut, and maybe I can do a little bit of this and none of that, and maybe I can get away with it. And that's where everybody makes the mistake at. Because you're really not fully invested into it. And the people that are fully invested into it, it's like they're gone.
Wow.
Like they're gone. They've committed like 100%. And there was a point in my life. So I guess I know what it's like because I was at that stage where I was just like whatever. Like I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I didn't care about nothing. I was reckless. And when you at that point, when you reckless and you don't care, then the consequences don't even matter. Like, man, whatever, you can do your worst to me. I'm gonna stand up and face it. It don't even matter. And a lot of people are at that point. And it's easy to be at that point because it's hard to be good, but it's easy to be bad.
Yeah, that part.
You know, so when you on your bad stuff, you know, you doing it how you want to do it. It's like, man, look, man, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna take it how it come. But when you have to be you have to bite down, and you have to focus, and you have to be intentional, and you have to use discretion, and you have to be mindful.
Yes.
That's hard.
Yes.
It's hard. It's like driving a car down the road. You know, you may have the best intentions on the road, and you may, hey, I'm gonna get from point A to point B. I'm gonna follow the speed limit. I'm gonna signal. You know, I'm gonna put my seatbelt on. But then you got fools on the road.
Yeah.
They don't care about none of that. Point A to point B, 90 the whole way. So you got to watch out for them. You got to steer clear of the crash.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a balancing act. You know, for people that want to survive a different way. So to the people that feel like, you know, that's the lane, I would just say that, you know, make sure you explore your options. And to the people that's in the street, I would say, you know, because there's this code, you know, and once upon a time I was fully invested in that and I believed in it, but then I realized, like, every time I got in trouble, everybody was telling on me, and I can't tell, like, so how does that work? Like, y'all tell on me, but I don't tell, I don't do none of that. Like, so that really took me out the street, like the distaste.
Yes.
Distaste really took me away from it. Like, it was a bunch of things, desire, distaste, but I just cannot see myself doing that any longer.
Yeah.
Because I realized, like, there is no code. People will sacrifice you.
Yeah. Wow. And you know, you hear a misrepresentation when you're talking about the streets are loyal to you.
No, they're not.
That don't sound like that to me, you know.
It's not. That's not. And I said it in my podcast, and I'm gonna say it here, and I will say it frequently.
Okay.
Because I want people to really understand that self-preservation is the number one human instinct. So when you sitting there expecting somebody not to tell on you, you wishing on a star.
Ooh.
Because when these people have a 90% conviction rate, we just do the math. It's simple mathematics. That means 9 out of 10 people are telling, and only one person is staying solid.
Wow.
That's just men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Those are facts. So if 9 out of 10 people are telling, like, how do you plan on getting away with whatever you're doing? Eventually you're going to get caught. And then if you solid and you a stand-up individual and you bout that life, okay, you the sacrifice then, you the fool. Because people don't care about how solid you are, because like I told you, all them gangsters that's in there doing life, 20, going on 30 years that they've been in there, they overlook now. And then when they get out, you know what they going to call them? Hey, what's up, Unc?
Yeah.
How you doing, Unc? They don't care about none of what you did to get there. It doesn't matter, because it's a whole new generation that's up running, doing the same things, doing it different. They don't care about none of that. So you holding on to a dying lifestyle, to a dying mentality, like it's dead. And the people that hold on to it is really they wishing on a star because it's false.
Ooh, that is so good. Wow. Wow. Almost losing the speechless a little bit. That's hard to do, baby, but ooh-wee. I mean, it's just so rich, you know. It's just so rich. Wow. So other than your music and the podcast, are you working some type of, are you doing an agency to help? You see a lot of people who, you know, come out, and they have group homes, they have sober homes, they have, and it's awesome. They're using the stuff that they've experienced and the skills that they've gained inside as well, and they come out and they're successful and they're bringing people from that same road.
Exactly.
Are you doing anything like that?
Yeah, I'm definitely working on it.
Okay.
So I guess the next thing I need to do is establish my 501(c),
See,
my nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And I believe that everything is incremental. Like, I'm not in a rush to do anything.
Okay.
So
I mean, it's
I'm speeding. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I've done more in these last 14 months than people have done in the last 18 years.
Sounds
that I was in
like
prison.
it. Sounds like it.
And I told myself, because I was always like, every time I found myself being released from custody or finding myself back into the community, I was always in a rush to do things.
Yeah.
I was speeding.
Yeah.
And I always crashed. Like, I've, like, the success that I'm having now, I've never had this success in my life. And the reason why I had this success is because I said, okay, I'm gonna take my time. If it's meant to happen, or if it's in the cards for it to happen, it's gonna happen. Like,
say that.
nothing's gonna stop it.
Say that.
Like me talking about this podcast, I just shot it last week. I shot my video. Like things that I'm doing are happening in the time that they're supposed to happen.
Yes.
And I'm just allowing it to happen. I'm allowing things to take their course.
Yes.
And they're occurring organically.
Yes.
And it feels great because it's like it's right on time.
Yes. Yes.
So I know that to really establish my 501c3 or 3C, right?
3C.
3C. I need to C3. I need to really have a grassroots following, and I believe I'll do that through my podcast.
Okay.
I believe that people will really listen.
Yes.
To what I'm speaking about, and then I can get into the community. I want to go to some of the same places I either went to school at or I was confined at.
Okay.
And speak to people from that perspective.
Okay.
I want to go back in those places as a free man with a different perspective.
Oh, that's powerful.
And then share these stories and share this knowledge and understanding, and hopefully people will see it. Like, because people used to do it back then, but I believe the delivery was just all wrong. People will come from a biblical perspective, and that it doesn't always reach, doesn't always translate.
That's right. That's correct.
You really got to go speak to people in their language.
That's right.
Like, you got to get down with them eye level and speak like, hey, bro, this is, man, they about to wash you up. This is what, like really speak to them. Like, this is how it's going. So that's what I'm going to do on my podcast. I'm going to speak to you in a language that you understand.
Okay.
Right? And then I'm going to give you the education that you need in a language you understand about what you are up against.
Yes.
And then if you still make your decision after that, it's on you. But my only request is that you stand on it. Don't throw nobody under the bus. You know what I'm saying? Don't beg for mercy. Don't fold. Stand on it. Because I'm gonna do my best to push. I'm gonna do my best to service the community in that respect.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm gonna spread it far and wide.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna know this is how this system really works.
Yeah.
This is really what you up against. That stuff that they talking about in them rap songs, I really did that. I was really there. I really know such and such. I really seen something.
Yes.
And I'm gonna give you all the examples that you need, all the information that you need. And if you still decide to travel that path or still decide to travel down that, cool, I respect it. I salute it. Just stand on it.
So what's the name of your podcast?
Reality Rap.
Reality Rap.
By
You said
Fresco Fresh 100.
Okay. And is that on YouTube?
I'm going to release it on. It's uploading right now.
Okay.
So it should be out today. So
Now, it says this your first?
It's my first one.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure that we get that information when we drop this episode so that people know where to go to check that out. I encourage people to do it. You know, we all know someone in that situation.
Definitely.
Be it they're in it, heading that direction, or have been there and looking for how to maneuver afterwards.
Exactly.
So yeah, we'll definitely make sure we do that. So then your music, is that that's newly released or not yet? You working on that?
No, all like everything that I've worked on. Well, not everything I worked. I got a whole catalog about 20 plus songs that I really want to release. But I've been releasing music since I got out. So
Okay.
I got out of the halfway house March 10th of last year.
Okay.
And April 5th, I released my first song called Stand.
Stand.
Yes, Stand. And that was released it's streaming on all platforms.
Okay.
And then the first time I ever performed was July 7th of 2023. So like I'm living out things in my life that I didn't have the opportunity to do.
Yes.
Because I was so wrapped up in the streets. Like it's one I was like just intoxicated by that lifestyle. And being in that lifestyle, like you really put a lot of things, important things on the back burner. Family, dreams, ambitions, because you get trapped in that box. It's easy to be in that box. And, you know, when I was stuck in that box, I didn't accomplish nothing other than losing 18 years of my life to the system. And then I had to like fight harder just to, you know, remain even keel so that I can get out and at least have a chance, because people get in there and they get lost. So thank God I didn't go in there and get lost.
Yes.
You know, I didn't get lost, but then it's still work that has to be done. I got out and I was willing to do the work. From the time, like, I got a job within my first 3 weeks. And I haven't looked back since. You know, people, employment is going to be hard. And,
that's
you know,
what they say.
they're not going to hire you because
That's
you're a
what they say.
felon.
Yes.
That's what they say. But it's jobs out here.
Yeah, there are.
People are hiring daily. Like if you start from there.
And then you're able to live in that liberation of, yep, this is what I did. So you're not hiding nothing. You know, you ain't trying to lie on your application or anything like that, and then get found out and then lose your job and all that kind of stuff. You can walk in that thing like, yeah, this is, this is what I did. I did the consequences for what I did.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to live. Okay. All right. So, well, thank you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Thank you.
I always like to offer the opportunity of my guests to come back. Sounds like there's going to be so much more to talk about.
Definitely. We can make this episodic.
Let's do that part. We're doing episodes, right?
Yeah, definitely. We can share.
Series.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can share. We can go topic specific. Like
Yes,
we can just stick
I
to
would
one
love
topic.
that.
I'm with it.
I would love that. Okay, so then as we're wrapping up, then give me a couple of nuggets you would like to leave on the table for today.
Couple nuggets. I guess number one, focus comes at a premium. And focus will take you far. So if you are focused,
Say it.
you will become successful
Yes.
in due time.
Pin that and that and that. And that, because we fresh.
That's right. You already know. We gotta keep it fresh.
thought you was going to get out of here without me bouncing one for you, right?
Thank you. I appreciate that. You gotta do that.
Yes. So you know what? Awesome. And I hands.
Thank you.
Congratulations. What an inspiring story.
Thank you.
I do look forward to having you back, so we'll talk about that a little more.
Definitely.
So continue to be well and
will.
continue to focus.
Definitely.
Because that's working for you.
It's definitely focus.
Yes.
I haven't failed yet.
Yes. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.